if your head's not right in the game, your clients can always feel it. If you're distracted with depressive thoughts or everything, your clients can feel it. If you're just somewhere else, even if they're happy thoughts, if you're not in the craft, then your clients can feel it. If you're not um there for yourself, I think in any way, in any job, if you're not there for yourself, maybe you're not truly there for whoever you're with.
Craft Your Life is a radio show for the tenacious, the bold, and those who refuse to settle for mediocrity. We bring together visionaries, game changers, and relentless go-getters who are crafting their lives, businesses, and relations in pursuit of excellence. If you are ready to shatter limits, embrace the amazing, and live life on your own terms, this show is for you. Each episode delivers actionable insights, inspiring stories, and unfiltered conversations that will ignite your drive to win a life worth dying for. Tune in and get ready to live viciously. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Craft Your Life radio show. I'm your host, Matt Kuehlhorn. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Conrad Gonzalez, the skilled hands and compassionate heart behind High Desert Massage in Grand Junction, Colorado. Conrad, I really appreciated our connection before hitting the record button, and I'm excited for this conversation. Thank you for jumping in.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I mean, you've had some big names on here, so it's pretty exciting just to talk to you and get to make this connection.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for listeners to hear some of your story, man, because it is a story about transformation. And before we jump way forward, it's just a little teaser for everybody. Um, where did where did Conrad grow up?
Well, I was born in Glenwood Springs. I grew up here in
Okay,
Grand Junction.
awesome. What was it like growing up for you? Were you always outside? Were you a studier? What was it like?
Yeah, so I felt like a people person, growing up a kid. I was always uh excited to meet new people, have new friends and everything. And I loved being outdoors, loved being with my family. I so my mom moved here when I was um 3 or 4, moved to Clifton just in a trailer house with my grandma, and they worked at a laundromat for a long time. So just growing up, I grew up uh not very well off, but I mean with a bunch of love from my family.
Yeah.
And but obviously things happen, different family dynamics. A few major things that happened growing up. My uncle unfortunately shot and killed my aunt. Um she was pregnant. Well, she was like an aunt in the family, but she was pregnant at the time as well, and just seeing these different things at such a young age and that a family can do. I felt like it was a little bit of a shell shock growing up, and I think it really kicked off like a journey of being lost and just going through different things growing up that really change your perspective, and you don't realize like how much of different coping mechanisms you're picking up, how much different anxiety ticks, different things that just at the end of the day aren't who you truly are and not truly one with yourself.
I appreciate how you just dive into the depth, and let's continue exploring there. So, from what I know about your story, you worked in the oil fields. I mean, were you college bound? Did you grow up here, graduate, go into the oil fields, or did you go to college and then oil fields? How did that?
And I think that's a thing where my childhood being a little bit askew really impacted that college outlook for me. I felt like I never knew what I wanted to do. We get told all the times growing up, you can be whatever you want. You can be whatever you put your mind to. And so I felt like that was not helpful at all, one, but it it made me feel lost. And so I decided not to go to college, save some money, go right into the oil field. My stepdad, he was in the oil field for a long time, so I think that influenced me. Either go make 100 grand right out of school, or go 100 grand into debt. And for potentially, so many people don't use their degrees, so potentially like go into debt for nothing.
Yeah. The oil fields was good money.
Yeah. Yeah, the oil field was really good money. But when you take a kid like that, I've realized you take a kid that's not in the best environment growing up and you give him 100 grand, he's not going to make the best decisions. He's not going to, you could tell him, you better save that money or you better do this. But that's why I feel like we need more mentors. We need more pillars in the community for people growing up, people like navigating this whole new world that we're in with social media, with like just the endless possibilities that we could turn ourselves into just by these simple connections.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we hit record, you showed an image of yourself a few years ago. Who
Yeah.
who was that guy?
So do you want me to show you again?
Yeah.
So this guy was somebody that was hurt, that was eating gas station food every day that probably was not the greatest for you, energy drinks, because you're working like 12 hours on location usually, if you're lucky, probably more. But you're usually 3 hours away from your hotel on these places. So at the end of the day, you're working up to 20, 22-hour days. And so it really takes a toll in the oil field doing that for a long time. And
Yeah.
not just physically, but mentally. And people don't realize like the mentality of it and just the different things that uh that environment brings along, drugs, I mean, steroids, just all the different influences going into it. And so I feel like sometimes I look back and I'm like, I wish I never went and did that. I wish I never went and messed up. But I feel like I never would have gotten to the point I am now. I never would have lost 100 pounds. I never would have done a lot of these things. I never would have built my own business, if I never was down at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so real, man. And, for the listeners that are catching this on audio, what was just on the video, which you could always check at the YouTube channel, but Conrad, the version of you that I see is fit, slim, like your face is cut, like you have good health. And the image
Yeah.
that you showed on that phone was you of a few years ago. You mentioned the gas station food and the hours and like the environment that you were in was not promoting health. And you
Yeah.
had another 100 pounds on you.
Yeah. I had another 100 pounds on me, another 100 grand in my pocket, but if you don't make those right decisions with what to do with that money as well, I never realized like what you spend your money on is what you're believing for yourself, is what you're putting your power towards.
Yeah.
And I never realized that. So I was just blowing my money on pointless things, and never really making that financial benefit that I had like as impactful as I could have.
All right. So what was the catalyst? What
The
started shifting?
catalyst, the catalyst from so the oil field. So I was in a relationship that was mutually toxic. I was in the oil field, I was gone a lot and the relationship really took a toll uh dramatically mentally on me, and it just made me realize like to the core, I don't feel like I'm a bad person, but I am making these bad decisions. I'm doing bad things, but I know these aren't even things I want to be doing. These aren't even situations I want to be finding myself in, and these aren't the people I want to be hurting. And so that was when I felt like I listened to people and I've talked to people and they're like, just 1% better a day. You get so shell shocked looking at yourself in the mirror at that point. You're like, and I felt like I'm never going to get out of this. I'm just going to be fat for the rest of my life. And maybe that's one thing that kept me in that toxic relationship is I did not have that self-love. And so uh the catalyst for the change was just I was sick and tired of where I was at. I was sick and tired of being somebody that I didn't like myself, being angry, being emotional in different ways, and letting other people have so much of my energy. and giving that away, giving away
Yeah.
my battery.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful self awareness. And, people don't always gain that. Um, you know, People can get just stuck and stay where they're at. And
Mhm.
maybe there's a comfort of where they're at, or maybe there's a perceived pain of actually changing. So I'm curious, like getting to that level, I guess a couple questions would just be like, okay, where does this self-awareness play? Because at some point you were looking at the mirror and be like, I'm done tolerating this. But then was there connections with mentors, or, how did you find the necessary tools just to start making those behaviors changes and the identity change?
I would say a focus on listening more to podcasts, actually. That was one shift that was really key. It just changes that ear or that voice in your ear all the time, If you're just listening to, like, angry stuff all the time, you're just gonna be angry. And so I started listening to more podcasts, listening to more informative, like, YouTube channels, different things that really just put little things in my ear that gave me little encouragements every day. And I mean, it was never perfect, I had peaks, valleys. It was never a steady mission. It was definitely an adventure, and I feel like mentor-wise, in the oil field is hard, there's not good mentors at all, and, I shifted to school. I decided to enroll in school for massage, and that whole thing, actually, the way I got into massage was originally I quit the oil field maybe, like, 4 years in, and I went to school to be a mechanic. And then I realized, like, no mechanic is happy with their life, really. Like, not saying, like, not being too extreme, but, like, they're usually pretty angry people. They're, like, not happy with what they're doing. They're all beat up, cut up. You gotta buy your own tools. It just doesn't seem like the best profession that I wanted to get into. And so I quit out of school, which was, like, another major mental thing where I was like, I just dropped out of college again, and, so I went back to the oil field. But that college, they kept in touch with me, and so they were like, "You gotta come finish your mechanic degree if you wanna get out of the oil field, you wanna do something, get a trade." And I was like, "Well, what else do you have?" And so they showed me, uh, all the different programs like cosmetology, computer science, nurse aide, different things like that, and then massage therapy was the cheapest one. It was like 12 grand to get into, and I was like, "Well," and then I was looking at it, and I was like, "That would be pretty cheap." Everything, like, the overhead is insanely low. I just need then they give me most of the stuff I already needed right at school, And, uh, I've just always been an empath. I've always been kind of an emotional person, and so I felt like it was something that really made me feel better, in my soul, that I was helping more people, helping, make a difference. And throughout school, people told me, like, "This is what you were meant to do. This, like, you have the level of a 5'10", like, you can just exponentially you were just meant to do this." And so that was a huge motivator in my change as well. I don't think if I was, like, not very good at it or not talented at this craft, that I would've made such drastic changes. That was a huge catalyst, and a huge
Mm,
motivator was just everybody cheering me on, It was pretty encouraging.
that's amazing. My wife was a massage therapist, so I have a little bit of understanding, but I guess a question like, did you have the opportunity to continue healing from like the childhood traumas through your education with body work?
Yes, I would say it was probably detrimental. It's become such just like karate becomes a discipline for somebody, I feel like it became my discipline, it became my meditation. It became, uh, just, definitely a part of me that I never thought I needed, and a part of me that I never thought would help so much in so many different ways, financially, mentally. And so, remind me of your question again, sorry.
I was just curious on your journey, really, because there's so much transformation in your story. and you find massage almost haphazardly, and then
Uh-huh.
you get good affirmations and you have a knack for the craft. And my understanding is that, I mean, body work in general is very intimate. There is
Uh-huh.
emotional, there's energetic, there's physical, all combined into a session, if you will.
Yeah.
And as a practitioner, I would only imagine that in the journey of learning, you're also experiencing and you're also moving through some of your own stuff.
Yeah.
The healing like process I think is real. And I think it, my next kind of questioning is like, okay, for your clients and customers, how much does that happen on a table? And, but for you and your journey, I mean, in that learning process, healing occurs. I mean, what was that
Yeah,
learning
so
for
in
you?
I would say definitely going into school, I was in a totally different mindset. I was in a totally different ideology of the way I wanted to live my life as well. I didn't plan on really losing that much weight. I didn't plan on becoming a healthier, like way healthier version than I thought I would. So that mentality and that growth going into it was my mindset was I'm going into this to make a bunch of money, go travel, and like just get out of the weather, get out of the oil field, and be able to uh just get by. Just at least do something, learn a trade, you know? So I wasn't 100% convinced that massage was for me as well. And I wasn't 100% convinced, to be honest, that I even really was happy with myself 100%. I wanted to quit probably every month, to be honest with you. Just it was a cycle that I kept trying to break, but well, I did break, but, it was tough, you know, and that encouragement, those words came back as well, and the universe, I feel like you have to be semi in tune with it no matter how spiritual you are or whatever. I feel like the world just knows what you're going through, and it gives you what you need, and it just
Mhm.
or it takes what you know, it doesn't and it you just gotta go with the flow, I feel like, and I learned that in school because I learned the discipline that I needed through going to school and keep alright, I gotta go to school 5 hours tonight over and over again, and I wanted that was one of the reasons I wanted to quit, I was just exhausted, but thinking about the oil field, the blizzards, the oil all over me, the dirt and the cold weather in North Dakota, that was also a huge contributor into my mental change because I was like, do I really wanna go back out there? Do I really wanna go back in that mental space I was in out there? Do I really wanna I don't wanna backtrack. I have no choice but to change. I have no choice but to figure out who I am. This is it. Like, I can't it's either sink or swim, you know? I've already know what down in the dumps feels like. I already know, like, if I wanna change, something major has to happen.
Hey everybody, this is Luke from Cooler Garage Doors. Just want to take a quick second to talk about our sponsor, Sommer Garage Door Openers. In our opinion, Sommers are the highest quality product on the market today. We recommend them for all of our residential garage door installs because of the variety of features they include, such as Wi-Fi connectivity and safety features such as a fixed chain, which moves along a secure rail to ensure your garage door opens quietly and safely. Click on the link in the description to learn more about Sommer Garage Door Openers.
What are you able to offer through your practice now based on your
So,
experiences and learning?
through my practice and that is one thing that I love that you mentioned earlier that the craft is so key because so much in our society we do get into, "All right, get them in, get them out." Like, it becomes less of a craft and more of a financial, roller coaster or like a carousel real quick. And so I've learned with my customers that I have to be more personable. I have to not be so commercially present, commercially like perfect and everything, that being more personable and telling people my story and telling them like how I failed and how different things like this, uh, I feel like keep me grounded and help me be a better person to help other people, to serve other people. And I feel like massage therapy is such an intimate um modality, practice, and I feel like if your head's not right in the game, your clients can always feel it. If you're distracted with depressive thoughts or everything, your clients can feel it. If you're just somewhere else, even if they're happy thoughts, if you're not in the craft, then your clients can feel it. If you're not um there for yourself, like I think in any way, in any job, if you're not there for yourself, maybe you're not truly there for whoever you're with.
Yeah. All right. So then, follow up question to that, because I would imagine you have some decent answers, like for listeners who are following along in this conversation and just heard that. It's like, okay, yeah. I'd imagine some people are doing kind of what I'm doing, be like, yeah, that's it. I mean, it's the presence. If we're not present, then that impacts how we relate to our kids, our spouses,
Yeah,
our employees, our customers. Like all of that stuff really rings in my ears as being true. So what have you picked up, or what do you do to gain that presence, to ready yourself to go work with a customer on the table, or just be where your feet are?
definitely. I have a few different tactics. Sometimes I just like to shake it out, like physically. My therapist, you gotta get that physical energy out sometimes. So push against a wall. Just try to center myself. What I try to hone in on is really being present, and I feel like people say that a lot, be present, but I don't think we've realized just how even in the tiniest little things we aren't present. We're our mind's always thinking about something else. Oh, like what's the animal doing? What's this? And we never like truly think like, and I do this with my massager before. I'm like, this person like has this whole life, and they're coming to me right now. They're relying on me to help them a little bit, just to make their life a little bit easier with either with pain or mental issues. And so I feel like in that is such a big honor, that I feel like I have to honor myself as well and be there for that person. Be there for that person. Um, like a lot of other like n- just like we all get distracted, and so we're not 100% there for everybody, and so everybody else is 100% there for us. And so I feel like we have to remember that as well. And I think just for somebody to be there 100% for you and just focusing on you, being present in the moment is just so huge. And I feel like that transfers over into every single touch, every single like pressure point and everything. But I guess what I really want to hone in on too with the presence is I mean just taking a breath, just realizing you're on a big spinning ball right now, and like who cares how many what your number is in your bank account, who cares about all this stuff? Like it doesn't really matter. And sometimes it's just nice to just like take a breath and just think like you're just an organism connected with all these other organisms,
Hmm.
just living, and I feel like if we base all our emotions on that, like why should we be angry? Why should we be angry about some number in something, or some credit score, or something that some government that rules us, that can that well that like serves us? Uh why are we so anxious about that? Why are we so worried about so many different things that affect us on every single day? And I guess that's one thing I want to focus in on too, is that every moment is an opportunity to just change that mindset, to just realize like I don't need to be, I don't need to be stressing about this. This doesn't have to be my mentality right now. This doesn't have to be what I'm putting my energy towards.
You're hitting on something, and I was going to pull this up um, because in in my experience of life right now, I'm actually going through a significant transition. It's another identity
Really?
shift. So, I've been grinding in cooler for 10 years, and I say grind very intentionally. And something that's been bubbling up more and more is this idea of rest in
Hmm.
order to. And so for my personality, and this has its own relationship to childhood wounds and traumas, right? And I think everybody has, I don't think we can get out of childhood without trauma. And I don't care how like comfy everything was. I mean, there's always a meaning maker mind. And so whether we had experiences like yours or divorced parents or, we could have a full spectrum and yet it becomes relative. And so where this all goes is, one of my posts today, I want freedom, but I only feel worthy when I'm grinding.
Yeah, that's so huge. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we get so in that headspace that we have to either be checking an email, we have to be like designing a marketing campaign all the time. We have to just be on top of it. Otherwise, it's going to slip away.
Yeah. For listeners, I would imagine some people kind of run like I do, where it's that duality of like, yeah, I want freedom, and like I'm so wrapped up in the grind.
Uh-huh.
Um, and like that is worthy of unraveling. And
Yeah.
where I'm going with this is, one of the ways that we can unravel, well, there's a component that you've talked to is around self-love and acceptance.
Yeah.
And in order for me to be present with you or with my kid, like I have to have that self-acceptance and self-love first and
Uh-huh.
foremost to be present with myself. Like if I'm alone, like I have to have that. Otherwise, I'm going to have some kind of distraction running. And and like that rest, and that's where I want to talk about because I've had, you know, massages in the past and there's a lot of healing that can happen on a table. There's a lot of
Uh-huh.
power to just intentionally resting to give myself that type of therapeutic experience. And I just wanted to let you speak into that because potentially there's listeners that don't engage in massage therapy all the time. And
Um,
um I guess from your perspective, like what is it? Um what are some of the benefits people get? And and kind of give us this little map of like, yeah, I think I'm highlighting the importance of rest. I'm not a great rester myself. And so I have to
yeah.
learn this, right? I think of massage therapy, like I might go if I have like a real injury, but there's more power to it than that.
Mhm. Definitely. I would say massage to me is a medicine. It's a medicine for the physical body and the emotional body that one me and myself being a therapist, it helps me. It's almost like my form of meditation, but it also for so many clients it becomes just a time where you need to you are forced to shut your brain off. You're forced to leave your phone over there. You're stuck on the table. So it's you have to find that peace. And I mean you are paying a decent amount of money for this session. So I like for people to look at that because it kind of gives them encouragement. All right, I better relax. I'm paying for this. This is my time. And so just take that moment to feel that space because we rarely ever get to in life between kids and different things just constantly grabbing at us. So massage can be so many different things for so many different people. It can be that break from the kids, a break from the world. But it's also such a good maintenance. And one thing that I just got a business coach, but one thing that she likes to tell me with massage is that we imagine our bodies as these like movable, mendable crystals, but if we let them just if we stay stagnant, we stay still, and we don't do anything, we don't move those fibers around, they'll start to harden and stiffen, and that's why we get such tension, such stiffness. And so massage is just a way to get the get the body moving, get the body flowing, and improve every system from circulation, digestion, lymphatic work is huge for different things. Endocrine system. There's just not a system in the body that massage doesn't benefit from. And but massage can also just be very, very aggressive. Maybe you need, like, some people like self-harm. Some people do different things like that. Just very uh deteriorating things to themselves. But I feel like massage can be an avenue for those people because massage can be a little bit painful and we get those endorphins just like people that self-harm. And so it can be just so many different things for different people and whatever they need. And really people can transform massage into what they need. Just communicate, find a good therapist that they like, communicate with that therapist. This is what I'm really looking for. And just really make massage what you need.
It's amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
Love that. Conrad, getting towards the tail end of our conversation here, and I'm just curious, like, what are you excited for? What's in front of you? What are you like? What's the next layer? As you unravel in your trade and craft. Yeah,
Definitely. I just got
what's on tap?
a new machine, a big machine. It's called a PE. It's Electrons Plus, but it's PEMF therapy. Have you ever heard of PEMF therapy?
I have. Yeah.
So it takes PEMF therapy and electrostimulation, and basically what I can do is I electrify you and ground myself. I put that electromagnetic field around you, and then anywhere I touch along your body, I can bring that electrostimulation through. And so it helps relieve so much tension just way quicker. It helps the massage benefits last longer. PMF in itself has just been studied for a while now for different diseases and functional stuff. But that's one thing that I'm really excited about is just seeing the different paths that massage is taking, the different modalities. People are really into frequencies because there's this really big push that everything is a frequency right now, and I feel like it's starting to become mainstream. And so massage is starting to get into a lot of that frequency stuff, and I feel like that's another way that massage can just be anything you want because there's just so many different tools now for different things and different ailments that you can really find a therapist, find tools that work for you, even self-help tools like getting like there's so many different styles of cups now. You can get the cups with like the red light therapy and suction and heat and everything. So that's what I'm excited about is just to see more where massage goes and more people getting massaged, more people massaging their partners, just it being more of a regular thing and not such a like luxury item or it gets over sexualized or over analyzed for a bunch of different things. And it's in other cultures, it's so much more of a regular thing, so much more of a thing that you do extremely regularly, weekly, daily, and just in American culture, just like a lot of things get over sexualized. Um, it just needs to be so much more of a part of everybody's lives.
Yeah. Dig it. All right. So you've got some people's attention. How do people find you? Where are we following you? How do we book sessions?
Yeah, for sure. So you can go to my website, highdesertmassage.com, but it's high-desert-massage.com because somebody took High Desert Massage, unfortunately, already. You could book online. I'm also located right on Main Street at 644 Main Street, inside Rooted Valley. You can also come get your hair done. There's a esthetician in there as well, another therapist. We also have like a female therapist in there as well if people prefer a female therapist. Um, and there's so many different businesses there on Main Street too. But yeah, or just Google me as well. A High Desert Massage. That's the easiest.
Amazing. We'll definitely include your links in our show notes. So I would encourage listeners to go track you down. And
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me.
yeah, Conrad, I really appreciate just your willingness, ability to go deep today and your authenticity. And it's good to know you. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you again. This is amazing what you're doing, and I just feel like more people talking, more people just making these connections versus I feel like this community kind of gets very competitive, and so it'd just be nice for all of us to come together, you know?
Yeah, that's the juice. That's the
Ladies
juice.
and gentlemen, I would really appreciate it if you would help us continue the momentum that we have in subscribing, sharing, and liking our show. Let's extract really cool conversations with amazing people that are out crafting amazing businesses, relationships, lifestyles. So let's grow this thing together and just know that you are appreciated.